News is live from digital address GA09933441, available in Accra on Joy 99.7 and Hits 103.9 FM. In Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including ATL FM in the Central Region, Fafa Radio in the Volta Region, Golu 91.7 in the Upper West Region, Kesma FM in the Northern Region, and Radio Fubisi in the Upper East Region. Around the world, it is at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, heavy police and military deployment to the streets of Accra this morning as government steps up enforcement of COVID-19 protocols.
We are stepping up with enforcement from Monday. You can't step into a public area without wearing your nose mask, and that is very key.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo resumes work at the Jubilee House this morning after observing 14 days isolation.
Also coming up in business, Finance Minister rules out introducing new taxes and increasing exiting rate in media review as he seeks to rather focus on tax compliance. With details in 15 minutes.
Later in the bulletin, veteran actress Mami Doknon has been speaking about the creative acts and politics, revealing threats and economic losses suffered by celebrities who ventured into politics or endorsed political campaigns.
If you are not careful and the party you're joining loses, you lose everything.
Thanks for your company. The details now. A combined team of police, military and environmental task force operatives are this morning heading to various parts of the capital, Accra, to begin the street enforcement of COVID-19 protocols. The team will enforce the wearing of face masks and other protocols. Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ejei-Sowa, who heads the city's metropolitan area, says enough education has already been done and it's time to crack the whip.
A combined effort of the military, the police, and then our task force with the environmental health officers has been on the field for the past 2 weeks educating. We are stepping up with enforcement from Monday. You can't step into a public area without wearing your nose mask, and that is very key. And we intend to make sure that people comply with it.
But when are we likely to see change from Monday?
Once the security forces are on the field, in itself, it calls for compliance.
He says the security forces will also enforce hygiene rules.
They are enforcing the protocols and they are also enforcing the sanitation bylaws as well. So people should also stop littering the streets of Accra, because we are also in the period where we want to ensure that we want to see a very clean environment. So these are the two clear assignments that the security force had been embarking on. We are provided with the dustbins so that in case you have a rubbish, you throw it into the dustbin and not onto the street. So we are not just enforcing, but we are complementing it with equipment and the actual work itself.
Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ejei-Sowa. Still on coronavirus, government is disputing reports that COVID-19 treatment centers are full. Providing latest updates on the coronavirus situation in the country, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah indicated that the reports are not backed by accurate data.
Currently, there are 299 people in treatment centers, but we have a capacity of about 700. So the narrative that some keep repeating that the treatment centers are full, the treatment centers are full, they are not supported by your data.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo will resume work at the Jubilee House after undergoing 14 days self-isolation at the presidential villa. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah added that Senior Minister Yao Safo-Mafo has also been confirmed negative after testing positive for COVID-19 a few weeks ago.
The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is expected to resume out-home engagements after a 14-day precautionary self-isolation period. Senior Minister Yao Safo-Mafo, you will recall, instructed us to announce his positivity to the country a couple of weeks ago. He has been on supportive treatment at home since. He has, as he informs us, voluntarily tested again since, and he instructed me to update you that his tests of Thursday returned negative sample.
Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. To some security issues now, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry is dismissing claims by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu suggesting that government is making secret recruitment into the security agencies. At a press briefing last Friday, the Minority Leader said the police, military and immigration service are training personnel, although there was no public advertisement of vacancies. But the Interior Minister says there hasn't been any recent recruitment.
There is no ongoing recruitment. There was recruitment that the processes were complied with before the COVID-19 pandemic. But because of the pandemic, the schools were closed down and all the successful candidates were made to stay at home. On the reopening of schools, starting with final years in the university, in that program, the training schools of the security agencies were involved. So those successful candidates from the recruitment, which took place before the pandemic, were asked to start reporting.
You heard Interior Minister Ambrose Derry. Former President John Mahama has called on people in border towns in the Volta region not to be intimidated by the deployment of the military. He's asking residents to defy the military presence and come out and register in the ongoing voter registration exercise. Mr. Mahama condemns what he claims to be illegal home searches by armed officers.
It's intimidating. When the army comes out, then it means that there is an extreme national emergency that brings the army out. So even if they didn't brutalize them, their presence there is supposed to send a signal to them that they are being intimidated in order that they don't come out in their numbers to register. I'll ask our people not to be intimidated. They should still come out in their numbers and come and register. We've received disturbing reports of security personnel going into people's houses and searching to find out if there are foreigners in their houses.
Well, meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has described as untrue claims it prevented NDC agents from observing voter registration exercise. It says no individual was brutalized or intimidated at either Tepa Senior High School or Prempeh College, despite disagreements that resulted in security agencies stepping in to resolve some disagreements. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me with details of a statement issued by the Electoral Commission. Joseph, what does it say?
So the commission says at the Tepa Senior High School, the challenge they had was to the effect that some representatives of the NDC came in, they wanted to increase the numbers, and the commission and the school authorities disagreed because of the social distancing concerns. At the Prempeh College, they say that the representatives of the NDC did not come on time, and at a point, when they came in, they called for the registration to be suspended, and so that was granted. And so they make the point that they are not using the military to intimidate people from coming in to register.
Thank you, Joseph Akable. Leprosy is a contagious disease, but many people may be living with it without knowing. This is because the red patches or the reddish color on the skin, indicative of the possible start of leprosy, is painless, and its incubation period can last for about 20 years. While in a village somewhere in the central region, a traditional birth attendant who has the condition but completely unaware has been conducting several deliveries. Here's an excerpt of Joy News' latest hotline documentary, Withered Skins, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng.
This took us to a community called Isumanjura in the Bremane Sikuma district. There, we met this 64-year-old traditional birth attendant, Abena Ahima.
I accidentally stepped into something and my feet got swollen, turned sore, and started going bad. They didn't tell me what the problem was.
Well, it is not surprising that Abena Ahima is not aware what she is battling with is leprosy. Dr. John Amuasi shockingly reveals just a few health professionals are able to even identify its symptoms and go ahead to treat. Back to Abena, Dr. Kwao and his team have identified some signs of leprosy, so they go ahead to examine her. The feet is very, very dry and cracked and has a sore.
If you lose sensation when you are likely to get injured, you cannot withdraw your feet to protect you from that injury because you don't feel.
Yes, what they guessed is right. She has leprosy and has come into contact with many people here because of her job as a traditional birth attendant.
Make a date with Seth Kwame Boateng on the Super Morning Show today at 8:30 a.m. as it brings to you the second part of this documentary. To some showbiz now, popular Ghanaian actress Grace Omabo, better known as Mami Dokno, is advising persons in the entertainment industry to be mindful of their decisions to actively take part in political campaigns. Speaking on Showbiz A to Z with George Quay, the veteran actress who campaigned for the NDC and was also a parliamentary candidate, said entertainment personalities who go into politics stand the risk of losing everything they've worked for.
If you are not careful and the party you're joining loses, you lose everything. They will not, the party will not consider you or look at you as somebody who belongs to them. If you are in the movie industry, those doing movies will not use you because they will always say